we did our first ever podcast tour, StickTalk Podcast tour, which is
marathon,
an absolute marathon, bro.
Yeah,
that trip left me feeling like dead. That was
7 podcasts in 2 days.
Was it 7 or 8?
7.
Yeah. So we drove in on Friday, had Louis Bossy for dinner, which can't
Classic.
go wrong with starting
The
a
best.
trip with Louis Bossy. And then just ripped 7 podcast episodes in 2 days. Really in like 24 hours, though. It was not spaced out at all. It was like one podcast, clean up the set, go to the next. So that's what was so tiring, I think. It's like, first off, Dan had to drive us everywhere, so he was probably the most tired. And then Scott was probably...
It was all Saturday afternoon and then Sunday morning.
So it was like crammed,
condensed,
right?
Yeah.
And then Scott had to like collapse the set and then build it back up at like a brand new location that he saw for the first time. And then we had Kai there. Shout out Kai, who like basically like produces and markets the show. Who a lot of people now are learning more about Kai after the Client Ascension event as well. But that was a marathon. We interviewed, who was it? It was Adam Sosnick was the first one. His episode is running up currently.
Yeah.
I think he's at like 15,000
15K,
views.
yeah.
I don't even know what our Saturday lineup was.
It was Adam Sosnick, which was cool. We got to see Valuetainment. Actually talk about that for a second. Like, people were asking why we're at Valuetainment Studios. What do you guys think?
Thought it was dope, man. Just having your own like compound to have your team at. Just like people direct dialing on a Saturday.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing. Just seeing the sales team in there working on a weekend. It's like, fuck, we need an office.
Yeah.
It's like the boilerplate environment.
Dude, and the merch in
Contagious.
there, oh my god. Like if we just keep going, we'll get gifts and buy stuff for the office and it'll just look baller.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Their culture is so strong.
Fantastic or something like
Their
that.
culture is so strong at Valuetainment. Not only are these guys hustling on a Saturday, but Scott's asking what they said. I can't remember the word, but it's like you ask them how they're doing, and they're
Unstoppable.
like unstoppable, like on cue. And like, not to make fun of them by any means, because I think it's like when people talk about culture, like the most powerful cultures are really like a cult, and that's kind of like
Yeah,
what he's
it's
built.
exactly what Eddie said. Like,
Can't
his
say
team is
culture
like a
without
cult.
cult.
They can
Yeah.
recite the values anywhere.
And that's why they're so effective and they're making so much money and they're so happy. But it was just weird. Like, you walk in on a Saturday, you're like saying what's up to like this person at the booth. They're like, I'm unstoppable.
Weird.
And I was like, whoa. Like, all right, cool. We're going to be doing a podcast in here.
Wasn't going to stop you.
Yeah.
Just
Not
trying to get to the bathroom.
Not looking to
And they
stop.
have the sickest fucking podcast studio I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
In a bank vault.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool.
Baller.
Yeah, that was fire. So we interviewed Adam. And then and what did we do? We did the Trump CMO, which was
yeah.
really cool. Got to have a little bit of a political debate for the first time on the podcast. And
I
then
got
we
some
had,
questions about that at the event.
you did?
Yeah.
Like what?
Like, oh, do you really not like Trump, or are you just playing it down the middle? I was like, I don't really like the guy. No, I don't fanboy over him.
That's how I was saying too.
Oh.
It's like people thought you were playing like a character on the interview.
Nope.
I was like, no, this is like how Dan is always. This is why the conversation is always good. So that was a good one. And yeah, we just did the Miami podcast tour. It was just insane because we did 7 interviews in 7 different locations within a 24-hour time span. And I thought all the episodes were pretty high level. Were pretty solid.
One of my big takeaways, especially from the Adam interview that's currently getting a good amount of views, we need more subscribers CTA. So guys, if you're watching right now,
Like and subscribe.
please take a moment. It seriously means a lot to us because obviously this stuff isn't cheap, right? Getting the cigar bar membership, going
Bro,
to
that
Miami, going to all these
Miami
different
weekend
places.
was expensive, bro.
That's what I'm saying. It's all expensive. So like the more that we can keep doing this, we do it for fun. We lose a ton of money on it. If you just take 3
And
seconds to
Scott's laughing
subscribe.
because it's
that?
actually so
Yeah,
true.
Scott's laughing because he's getting paid behind the camera.
Yeah.
Let's set a goal. Let's set a goal.
What's the
We're
goal?
at, what are we at right now? 3.68. We're going up pretty good right now. I say at 5K.
Let's get 5 by the end of the year.
If we get 10 by the end of the year, I'll shave my head.
That's
If we get 5 by the end of the year, I'll
Shave
dye
my
my
head.
hair blonde.
actually,
Okay.
are you for real?
If we get 5K by the end of the year, I'll dye my hair blonde.
Boom.
For how long?
Till it grows back black. What do you mean?
I don't know how the hair dye works personally.
That'd be fire.
That'd be hilarious. 5K, I'll
5K.
dye my hair.
Dude, that's like not unrealistic at all.
It's 1,400 more.
That's 1,400. I think that's how many
like
subscribers
1,300
we
more at
got
this
off
point.
of just Ty's episode.
Yeah.
So we just need one of these episodes to pop off, or people who watch frequently and are just too lazy to move it to
That
the
would-
side and click the button.
I would look
just to
so
click the
ridiculous
button.
with blonde hair. But
So yeah,
oh well.
subscribe to the show. We really appreciate it, and it'll allow us to keep doing these episodes that you guys clearly love because you're watching it right now.
The nice shit doesn't work. Either subscribe or stop listening altogether forever.
Damn.
Yeah.
I guess
It
you
takes
gotta
1
have
second.
both
It's
sides of
free.
it.
All right. Outside of that, I think another takeaway
Oh, but the
was just-
podcast weekend.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's too many podcasts. in
Too
one
many.
weekend. Yeah.
I said the
yeah.
same thing
Yep.
because one of the things that
I hate back to backs. We did back to back to back to back to back.
yeah, I think one of the things we just did not do the best job on was like research before the podcast, like knowing who we were actually sitting down with. And a lot of those episodes, like at times, it's just hard, bro, to compute like the next question you want to ask when this is like the 7th story you're trying to tell in 24 hours. But having Kai on the team was super helpful. Kai did an amazing job of like preparing like quick summaries and stories and reports and questions that he thought would do well, especially like on a YouTube algorithm level, so that we didn't really have to spend time doing research ourselves. And I think that's important to have, again, like a team, going back to the theme of the Client Ascension event, to help you with small things like that. Because we even talked about this in the StickTalk Slack channel. It's like we just need to focus on being good hosts. And like while we're sitting here recording, like we just need to be the best host possible. Everything else, we have a team in place to handle it. And like that's what it's there for.
We got a lot of great feedback on like the Ty episode. Like, oh, you guys are great at listening and not interrupting. So
Yeah, and with the Adam one, it shows. Like, obviously, there's an algorithm
Yeah,
at play, but we prepared
someone
a lot
had
for
such
that.
a mean comment, bro. I was close to crying.
On which one?
On the Adam one.
What'd they say?
He was like, dude, this is a fire podcast. The only thing that's annoying about you guys as hosts is like the little laughs and cackles. And like, I'm like, he's talking about me, bro. I'm like always cracking up like in the most awkward ways. That's just me, bro. Fuck off, right?
It's that
minus
laugh
one
right there.
subscriber.
Yeah, exactly.
-1.
Yeah, I'm subscribed, bro. I don't even care.
Sorry, fucking Chewbacca 769234. It's always like the random
Always.
ass accounts. with
Just
the
make
stranded
TikToks,
numbers.
bro. You'll be bulletproof to fucking
Yeah,
mean
no,
comments.
I was joking. I just thought it
Nice
it was
hairline.
hilarious.
I don't even have a bad hairline. Fuck you.
Wait till it's blonde. That shit's gonna be translucent. They're just gonna think you're
Yeah.
bald.
I got a comment about my hairline on my TikTok. I'm like, my shit's fine, bro. I have a big head. You could say that. Scott,
Yeah.
should we turn the chandelier on?
Yeah. For lighting, you think? Anyways. Okay, so podcast tour in Miami. I thought that was overall success. That was the first time we've done something like that.
Super
I'd
good.
do it again. I think next would be somewhere like Scottsdale. There's a lot of good podcast guests out there. I know we're going for another event, which we'll talk about later on. I just
Yeah.
don't think it's the time to do a podcast tour while
don't
we're
have
there
time.
for the event. But any other locations in mind? I know Christian's been dying to do a Vegas one.
Yeah, Vegas would be good. I also love, we got to get like Hunter Weiss in New York and Casey Neistat, maybe, please.
Yeah, it just depends on the quality of guests. Like, I'll travel wherever. But
But it's
I think New
important
York
to
will be
stack.
good.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna travel, I mean, obviously if it's like Tate in Romania, we'd go just for that. But
I'd probably cap it out at like 3 a day, though, with like a good amount in between.
3's still a lot.
3 is a lot.
That's what I'm
3
saying.
is a
That'd be, like,
lot.
the
I think
absolute
2
max
is
yeah.
max. But again, like one thing we have to do better next time around is just research. Like I think the reason the Ty Lopez episode was so good is because all 3 of us spent time researching. And research for podcasts is really easy. You just listen to them on other podcasts.
Yeah.
And you start to get an idea for like their story and how they talk about things.
Yeah.
I really do think that's why Ty's episode was so good. Is because like we did not have like any misses in terms of like he said something and we were like, oh, where do we go next? It just flowed.
Well, we never
perfectly.
really have like a pause. We know where to go. It's just not always the most in-depth conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. You just don't know enough about the person where it's like you don't know where to lead it next. You kind of just keep going. Like there's been guests where it's just like business, like super niche business talk the entire time. And it's like kind of gets old, at least from an audience's perspective. But hey, you guys are the ones that really matter. So let us know feedback. Give us a rating in the comments, how we are as hosts, the questions we ask, and what we can do better. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this short clip, check out the full interview here. And if you want to see more clips from this episode, check it out right here.